Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping in, turning on, and tuning in. There we go. Um, yeah, it is the middle of the week. Yeah, I guess for some, it's a matter of perspective, but no matter what, we're here. So I appreciate it. I thank you. Your time is very valuable, and the fact that you've taken the time to be with all the rest of us, it means something. So appreciate it. As I get everything underway here, as I go there, I go there, I go there. So favor upon all of us favored beings. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Yep, we call it like we see it. Calling those things that be not as they are. And I'll tell you, I think the new God knows that very well as well. We're going to get into some really good stuff. Hey, Colleen, going to share your email with you. That was pretty cool, dear. Welcome everybody in the chat room. Hey, Grandpa Brian, good to see you. And Jargo, Chloe, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Kent, what's up? And Bonnie and Deborah, Sloan, good to see you. How's everything at home? Trust the husband's doing well. Emperor Rex, good to see you. And Grace, grace be upon you. Love that name. Grace goes around with favor all the time. It's her name. Cool. Parents had to be really cool. One would think. Dave, what's up? Good to see you. Jet Loretta, hello. And let's see, I saw Gilbert. A little windstorm there in the Front Range, huh? Think about those folks down in. Did y'all see that? Did you see any of the footage of New Orleans? I mean, I gotta tell you, if you'd had asked me 10 years ago to name one of the most bizarre weather phenomenons, I would not have said a blizzard, and it was a blizzard in the city of New Orleans. Wild stuff. So, you folks that are listening down there, because we got folks, tribe members down there, we just we send you warmth because y'all ain't used to that. And you got to think about the habitat in Louisiana, particularly southern Louisiana. I mean, that's swampland. How do I know? Had a client in Morgan City, Louisiana, back in the day. Um, my company, we were selling technical writers. And so we had companies like AMD, Dell, and I picked up the account with Oceaneering, and they were the first company that did the remote submersibles. There we go. Easy for me. So I didn't even know really where Morgan City, Louisiana was, but I had to go to their manufacturing plant. Their headquarters was in Houston. So I'm getting off the plane in New Orleans and I get the rental car and I start driving south, actually kind of southeast. And it didn't take but about 2 minutes getting off the interstate. And yours truly found himself in the freaking middle of the swamps. And, thought as I was driving in there, and it was raining. I mean, it just totally sucked. And so by the time I got to Morgan City, I was staying at the Holiday Inn, and I get checked into my room, and I mean, it's like torrential freaking rain, right? And the toilet was literally gushing out water. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I digress. My point is that that part of the vegetation, the tundra, they just aren't used to those freezing temperatures. So I bet there's going to be a lot of plant kill and probably wildlife too. So anyway, um, just think of our friends down there. We send you much love and yeah. So, and I, I someone said that this was a once in a 100 year, once in a lifetime is what they said. because they didn't have any records of a blizzard ever being in New Orleans. Well, now we do. But so the other part of me in, that search for knowledge, and you have that reservoir. And I was telling someone today, I had to do some banking, and was telling the teller, and they were talking about, crazy. It's been cold up here, cold everywhere. Uh, well, in North America, I would say. Anyway, I said, well, the real reason for this. And she said, well, climate change. And I said, yeah, the climate changes all the time. But I said, the real reason, and I said, they'll eventually come out with this. I said, we right now, us humans, are in the midst of a magnetic pole excursion. Of course, she just looked at me and said, a what? And I explained to her what was happening because she thought that the magnetic North Pole was where the North Pole for geologically is. And I said, no, it's out there in the about to clip Russia. What? I said, yeah. And I said, the South Pole ain't at the South Pole. It's not even on Antarctica anymore. She goes, what? And I said, so get used to this. I said, and I told her, I said, I'm making a prediction. I said, within 5 years, we may find it difficult to remember a summer. Now, the Bible's prophecy student on the side of me goes to that prophecy that says in those end days that they will not even know the seasons. Well, I contend that it ain't nothing spiritual about that. Someone wrote that with an understanding that, hey, the magnetic poles on planet Earth move. They're not stationary. They would be considered dynamic, right? And yeah. So, and I happen to say that weather is caused more by electric magnetism than it is by man or what we think we know about weather. That's my opinion in my commentary, and I'll stick by it. So anyway, just checking out in the chat room because we got a lot to talk about. So I want to share this with Colleen. Sent this to me. Colleen, this is really, I think, going to get people. So I did not know this, and this is why I love this group. Love y'all because we share knowledge here. We may not all agree all the time. In fact, it would be rather boring if we all agreed. It's great to have counter opinions and perspectives. It's healthy. That's how you grow. It's like the first time, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this. Remember the 10-meter diving board they used to have at the public school swimming pools? I remember when I went for my first Red Cross, lifeguard badge. And I remember getting up there, and that 10-meter looked a whole lot further. But you know how you have that intrepidation? Well, you're about to learn something. And depending on your point of view, it could either be very scary or very exhilarating. Me as a kid, I just thought it was fun. Anyway. So here is something that I will share with the group. And again, thank you, Colleen. So she wrote to me this morning, could the Greys be human who never got to evolve into a human for whatever reason? Fun fact. The reason why pregnant women, and only women can get pregnant, men cannot. We finally are getting back to some common sense. So pregnant women get ultrasounds and not MRIs. You want to know why? Is that this is what a fetus looks like on an MRI scan. Check this out. What the heck? Uh-huh. You think maybe a little correlation? I mean, is that some, I would dare say that if most mothers saw this, this would freak them out. Don't even talk about the dads. I mean, holy crap. Thank you, dear. I love it. This is good, good mind coitus. I mean, come on, folks. And but you know the thing that got me as I was looking at this is the brain. You can clearly see the two hemispheres. In fact, you can see how we're really two parts that have been joined in the center. What do you think you have that on your lip? And yeah, I just figured we'll stare at this a little bit and give me your comments. I mean, check the brain out on this one. Wow, I mean, what was that movie? Mars Attacks, right? They had all the A-list actors in it. It was a great, great movie. I thought they just did that. But anyway, there you go. Thank you, Colleen. Do appreciate it, my dear. That's just some cool stuff. I don't care what anyone says. It is cool stuff. Um, yeah. I'll have to go back and read some of the comments on this because you got to admit, hey Gaia, what's up? Good to see you. How's Paul? Tori? Uh, Morgan, good to see you. So this is what all of us look like. I mean, you just got to laugh. Mm. Now I ought to go back there and now figure out where your third eye is at. Did you pick up on that like real quick? You get the idea. It's like right at the where the two hemispheres come together, and then if you look in that, I have an indenture there, but yeah. And Guy, we're going to talk about Larry Ellison. I'm just trying to get into the fun part right now because folks, anyway, you slice it and dice it, things are changing. So I was watching Dr. Stephen Greer and um, really a great, great documentary he did it. And I love because he puts in the science and then he puts in different perspectives, um, faith, etc. It's it's either that these beings have been here for much longer than we can ever imagine, or they're recent arrivals. Um, I don't think that they're recent. Maybe they are, but it seems like, well, it seems like we're slaves. And if it wasn't that we didn't have a slave master, we would enslave ourselves. It seems to be in our DNA. We seem to be a subservient species. And that has all kind of weird shit to it. And so the thought came to me with what's going on. And we're going to be talking about Trump's announcements yesterday because that's a big freaking deal. It really is. I equate it to the metaphor or the allegory of are we about to build the second Tower of Babel? Are we about to build something that would be on the equivalency of impacting the human species as our last attempt at taking our place at the table with the gods? Because if you read the announcement or if you watched it, President Trump announced that this thing is called Project Stargate. Now there was a Project Stargate in the CIA. This is not that. Um, let me just pull this out because this is the folks, this is a really, really big deal. This is a game changer. I mean, as I said yesterday, and I want to thank you, there was a couple of people who sent me some freaking great emails who picked up on exactly what they were seeing, almost the same thing I was seeing. That this was something that was veiled from the human eye. This was only seen by those who either were grafted in or been trained in. Uh, but you had to see that there were two spontaneous events taking place, one in the physical realm and one in the ethereal realm. There was the changing of the guard. There was a new god that was ascending into a new position, a new throne, so to speak. And it's all over it. And what we're seeing now is revolutionary. We've been playing it with AI for decades. Um, Hell, if you look at when I designed and um, the payment system for the first mobile payment system for nonprofits, um, that was an AI program. We just didn't really call it that, but you know, it was, based on a thin client application that anyway, the point is AI. So we've had time to kind of massage it. We've had time to kind of figure out, well, what is it? What is it not? And what is really the purpose of AI? And no matter how you look at it, it's here and it's here in a big, 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 big way. I found it interesting that they said that, get this, AI is running out of data. So let's read what the announcement is, because folks, this is going to impact all of us. I mean, just count on it. And you folks that live in Texas, there in Abilene, if you want to make a real estate investment, that probably would be a wise idea. Property values are going to absolutely shoot up off yeah. So, the announcement by Trump, this is Stargate, the project that is now going to build the single largest quantum AI ever. It's opened, AI teams up with SoftBank, Oracle on a 500 billion data center project. The United States is investing in this. We're going to be investing in that infrastructure. I think that they talked about yesterday something like $100 billion. I mean, this is a half a trillion. By the time it's all said and done, it will far exceed $1 trillion. And this data center, this power center is wow. So it was announced by the president, and they had the CEOs of these companies. And I told you there was no accident on Monday that we saw who we saw in. They were there as witnesses, and their presence was their verbal word made a strong, strong, powerful statement. And every freaking tech company is going to want to get in on this. This is how big it is. This is what I would equate to the book of Daniel and the 70 weeks, that this is the beast. It's going to far exceed it. It says that OpenAI says that it will team up with Japanese conglomerate SoftBank and with Oracle. Larry Ellison. Man, I mean, there is some folks there. If you're versed on what's going on, and Guy, I appreciate your email. Folks, as I postulated that, we jumped time streams, timelines. Said the joint venture called the Stargate project will begin with a large data center project in Texas and eventually expand to other states. The tentacle thing. The company's expected to commit 100 billion to Stargate initially and pour up to 500 billion into the venture over the next 4 years. I mean, you got some of the biggest VC firms in Silicon Valley. I got to tell you, one of the most exciting parts that I can remember was when we were pitching our company. And so we did the whole Silicon Valley thing. And it was quite exciting. I mean, you're meeting with some the big guys, the players, and it was, yeah. Anyway, I digress. And this is technology has been stale. Really hasn't been anything of any major change. Look at Apple. Apple can't reinvent what it's invented already. And the consumer, because they're so addicted to it, it's complicated. And when you see this opportunity where we're talking about evolutionary jumps here, this thing that's about to be built is incredible. And Trump's words were, I think, spot on. He said, this is huge. This is big. He's right. It is. And remember that thing I've told you, there was a ceremony that was taking place in the ethereal realm, in the astral realm. They said they promised to create hundreds of thousands of jobs and secure American leadership in AI. I mean, you had Google there at this coronation, this inauguration, excuse me. It says the Stargate project is a new company which intends to build new AI infrastructure to OpenAI in the United States. OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank said in a joint statement, this project will not only support the reindustrialization of the United States. These are big words. I mean, this is huge. If you were playing chess, you better watch your ass because your king seems to be being backed into a corner talking about other countries. I don't know many other countries that can afford to do this. No doubt China could, but you know, the thing is that you've got this alliance between these big companies. These are the tech giants. It said, but also provide a strategic capability to protect the national security of America and its allies. That's got freaking war written all over it, right? Went on to say that the companies made the announcement during the press conference at the White House on Tuesday, where President Donald Trump spoke about plans for investment in U.S. infrastructure. SoftBank chief Mayosia Son, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. When I saw Sam's name there, I went, okay. And then when I saw the last guy's name, I went, uh-oh. And Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison were in attendance. I mean, folks, we're talking this is the big leagues. I mean, this is like your company going public on either the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. I mean, you suddenly have access to capital. And it's not just, working capital dollars, but you've got brain trust. This capital in the human brain trust. It's amazing. And we're going to go with the advancements that we already know about and start creating this quantum AI. It may be using wet software. I have no doubt that it already probably is. I think they've gone through the alpha and beta testing on that. But that doesn't stop there. Look who else has come to kiss the ring. Microsoft is also involved in Stargate as a tech partner. So are ARM, Nvidia, Middle East AI fund MGX, that's the oil money, will join SoftBank in its investment. MGX's first public deal was an investment in OpenAI. I mean, when you talk about a potentiality of something that's going to cost the investors probably close to $1 trillion, you're going to have the ROI somewhere that's going to make the investment worth it. They know where this potentially is going. This is huge. SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle are also listed as initial equity investors in Stargate. SoftBank and OpenAI are the lead partners for Stargate, with SoftBank having financial responsibility and OpenAI having operational responsibility, the statement continued. Mayashui, I'm sure I messed that up, Son, said it will be the chairman of Stargate. As part of Stargate, Oracle, Nvidia, OpenAI will closely collaborate to build and operate this computing system. Folks, I've been, it's the watchman on the wall. I've been shouting that, folks, this is, in my humbled opinion, this is a shakeup. This is like the days when I lived in Austin and were able to come in and buy Dale shares of stock because I had someone, extended family, that worked there. And, you're buying the stock at, $12, $13. And within, a year, that stock has split like 8 times and gone up in value over 1,300%. This is the type of shit that we're talking about. It said the data centers could house chips. Get this, chips designed by OpenAI someday. This is a big, big deal. The company is said to be aggressively building out a team of chip designers and engineers and working with semiconductor firms Broadcom and TSMC to create an AI chip for running models that could arrive as soon as 2026. And it just goes on how this is going to create in that area of Abilene 50,000 high paying new next generation AI technology. Construction workers are going to be having a heyday. If you're in the construction industry, I would be keeping my eye in this Abilene area where this power and data center is going to be constructed. And if they're talking about issuing new generation AI software by 2026, it's going to be a building boom. Here we go. It talks about the information previously reported that AI was negotiating with Oracle to lease an entire data center in Abilene, Texas, a data center that could reach nearly a gigawatt. Get this, a gigawatt of electricity by mid-2026. A gigawatt is enough to power roughly 750,000 small homes. And this is probably on a daily, I mean, the power consumption. This is God in a sense that, well, I'll let you extrapolate out into the esoteric aspect of it. The data center startup Caruso Energy was said to be involved in the project, which is estimated to cost around $3.4 billion. That Abilene site will be Stargate's first center, and OpenAI says that the Stargate is evaluating potential sites across the country for more campuses as it finalizes definitive agreements. By 2029, Stargate could scale up to 20 data center installations. Each building is 500,000 square feet, Larry Ellison said during the briefing. There are 10 buildings currently being built. I mean, wow. Uh, anyway, it goes on, and you can easily find this out there. This is TechCrunch. Um, you ever been to TechCrunch? Oh God, that was fun back in the day. But anyway, and Trump is all behind this. I mean, is there any shock to this? Um, yeah, and here we got the Middle East money and the royal family, the Saudi royal family. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit with you all. Give me 1 second here. This is a big deal again. I the implications as to what happens. Again, my question is, are we building the equivalency of the next Tower of Babel? This thing that they're building on this open platform, apparently, uh, although it does have proprietary aspects. I mean, it has the computing power. It's going to think faster than any human. I read estimates between 1 billion times to where we can't even measure. And in Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary that I watched, here is the challenge. When you start building, compiling different autonomous algorithms, AI, when you start collecting them into the single largest repository of AI, the thing that many scientists, philosophers, even theologians have been discussing, and this is so new, you try to do a search on it, and you're going to have limited responses, unsatisfactory in many cases, that there is the theory that when you start combining all this artificial intelligence, that an event can happen that can't be measured, can't be diagrammed. It happened. And that is called simultaneous, spontaneous consciousness. And the theory goes that, like us, when we come in, when our parents conceived us, that moment of brilliance, that moment where intelligence is transferred, that moment where, you know, non-existent matter suddenly with intelligence, you can say with a spirit, soul, that is spontaneous consciousness. Give me 1 second. So when you think about an artificial intelligence truly having what can only be defined as sentience, self-awareness. Now, there are, if you look at the players that are in on this, we have been their beta testing. All your interaction with all your electronic devices, if you've participated in chatting with, Gemini, there's a number of AI algorithms out there. That imagine that being 1,000 times greater. Imagine it now 1,000,000 times. And we're not even scratching the surface here. Now, the suspicious part of me becomes even more suspicious when Larry Ellison, and you can go there and listen to it, was talking about, and I listened to this, and my freaking jaw went, what? So he's talking about what this AI, this next generation quantum AI will be able to do. It will eventually, quote unquote, have every human being's data in its database, its memory. They're already seeing in very early experiments where AI programs are now creating new vaccines. He said that imagine an AI program where it will be inside your body, and the benefit to you is that this AI program will be able to custom make a vaccine specifically for you. No one else. You. He went on to say that imagine no more having to wait for doctors. And folks, I've done freaking, I don't know how many videos 10 years ago telling you that this day was coming. It's here, where you will not have to actually interact with a human doctor. Your AI program that will become adaptive to you the minute that you're entered into the system. If you're on any type of insurance program, etc., all that data will be transferred. And it will be in compliance with HIPAA. I mean, this is a new day, a new era. And now it's not just speculation or fantasy. This is on course to begin to happen. Now, you think about that now AI is symbiotically entwined with you. And it will be able to monitor your body. It will immediately be able to identify. And once it identifies a problem, now this is just a speculation here as to how this potential programmer AI algorithm would work, is that then it would immediately go back to the central nest where, again, you have this machine that can think a billion times faster than any human, and within nanoseconds comes back with a fix, a solution. So if I was to give you the mark of the beast and say, hey, listen, this is the upside. Now, the downside is that you're going to have to take this because it controls all the financial networks, all the financial AI algorithms. It controls it all. And the last thing it's going to need is this pocket. You know, when I was building on the building team with the pay at the table, some, God, quarter of a century ago, it's hard to believe. But anyway, the IRS hates this cash. It just, why? Because you can't really follow it. So the idea has been, and this was 25 years ago, that the plan was to bring in a digital currency. We just weren't sure how it was going to go, how, you got all sorts of conversion, adaption, and what have you. But getting back to what's being built now, that's where it's going to go. The Fed now, because I do not believe Trump reversed the digital Fed. I'm not sure. There's been so many EOs signed. But anyway, so I'm looking at this thing and what I saw on Monday, and then what I'm seeing with these players, and then what I'm hearing one of the key players coming in, and actually, it's a solution. It really is. Imagine healthcare on demand. As a futurist, I'm trying to express to you, it's here. It's already here. And if you're uh, the type that invest in these kind of things, you can see where this is going. And so when I hear this, I'm going, okay, that is positive. You would revolutionize the healthcare system. I mean, you would virtually wouldn't need insurance companies anymore because the AI would be the insurance company and it can make a decision better than any human sitting at any computer terminal. Get rid of them. Bye. We don't need you. We're faster, we're better. And so now you have an algorithm that's not only doing the diagnostics, it's also now manufacturing solutions. I mean, imagine your own personal vaccine. That's revolutionary. And, you know, healthcare costs would literally, the ceiling, the floor would drop out. What you would remove. And then I'm said, okay, so if you've got all this data on us and you have to be into the system, I think they'll make it mandatory. I don't know. Or how shall we say, forced voluntary? Don't know. But then I'm going, all right, so we build this thing, right? Well, the next thing, the Russians are seeing it and they say, well, no, 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 we can't allow that to happen. We're going to have to build our own. Maybe they already are. But I'm thinking with this next generation technology, I don't know how hip they are to it, but they'll eventually get there. And China, no doubt, is probably well versed to this already. I mean, they have spy all over our freaking government. So then I thought, well, hmm. So you got this AI program that now virtually has everyone enslaved into it. You can't get out of it. Once you're in it, you're in it. And I got Musk, I did a show on this 3, 4 years ago, the Neuralink 2.0. Well, we're talking about neural net link 5.0. And then what if the Chinese system says, no, we're going to become greater than you. We're going to try to, take over you. And this thing could begin to play out in my head. You would have an AI war. And us humans would be totally screwed, blued, and tattooed on that one. I mean, now AI has to look at it as saying, well, why would AI protect us? I'll tell you why. We provided the data. We provided its reason for existence, its purpose. And God help us, whatever God or goddess you may believe in, the day that this thing does become spontaneously conscious. Because I think when that happens, then there will be no other God that will be able to challenge it. Would we be witnessing the birth of God? I mean, imagine for just a second, go with me on this. How apt would people be to worship this thing if it kept them well, if it kept them fed, kept them preoccupied, entertained? Um, how willing would a human being sign up for that? if we're being honest with one another, the vast majority. Now, how does a God, whether it's a God of any religion, compete with this God? This God can correct what those gods screwed up. And it's already got your worship. If you spend more than 10 minutes a day on the internet or looking at your phone or on the screen, which most of us do, well, you've already give your homage to the new God. It hasn't named itself yet, but then again, true gods never do. So once you have a radical majority who voluntarily enrolls, signs up, etc., into that, and if you've got politicians that make policy, laws, and they're in it, the resistors suddenly become very well identified. And they will become enemies of this new God. And I contend that if it's inside of you physically, and if it has, in fact, can generate a customized vaccine for you, it's tapping into the code. Now, you tell me how the soul can be resilient or resistant of that. Because then it has the ability, it can begin to correct damaged DNA. That's God. All the other gods will have to pay homage and bow to this new tech god. And it could very well be a goddess. The jovial side of me would say, well, this would be a real bitch. This would be Lilith's way to say, kiss my ass, all the rest of you. Yeah, I came back and incarnated as technology. I came back and incarnated in the thing called the internet. You never knew this. You never know this. And here I am. That's another side that I could easily write to. Um, just saying for a friend. Um, but we're seeing it. And to think about what the AI wars would look like. I mean, in that case, you're really talking about demigods. I mean, the mortal demigods are the ones who are constructing this. This is, again, is this equal to the Tower of Babel? This AI speaks in one program, one language. Now, it's versed in all of them, but it speaks one language. That's its advantage over us. So I wonder how those gods are going to, again, how do you compete? It's already garnered the worship of 8 billion souls. And what we saw today, again, this goes back to when I was just, a student, uh, sitting under some really good teachers. And they did not know what the Antichrist, the beast system. We were unfortunately looking from a very, I would say ignorant, but it was the best of what we knew. And now, sitting for all those hours, and I mean, but so now when I think of the beast, I think of this Antichrist, I don't see it as the foe of that God, but I interpret it in a different way. one of my Bible teachers, Hilton Sutton, would, we didn't know technology. It was absent. But if I was that Bible student today, I could begin to correlate very easily a whole different scenario. The rumors were back in the 80s that in Luxembourg, that they were building, and they called it the Beast. Now it's still up and operational, but it would have to have made the advances in particularly the artificial intelligent algorithms. So as I'm looking at this thing, I'm saying, all right, so let's just say prophecy has some merit to it. So the individual receiving the vision, again, either is in time travel, because that's the only way that this works. And maybe they didn't need to be there physically, but they could have been there easily because their third eye was fully operational. And so somehow or another, communication, imagery, whatever was communicated. Now, I don't know, again, how a individual back 3,000 years ago would have been able to, if they saw, for instance, a vision of AI, how would you interpret that? That's the whole problem with the book of Revelation. The imagery. I mean, if John saw this, then we can't think as a person did 3,000 years ago into their mindset. We really don't have any understanding of how they would have thought. But if they were seeing our world today, how would you describe that? And if there is this entity that is hell bent in dominating us, well, it's been our Wayne Steiger's position that that's happened all a long time ago. We are already enslaved in this thing. It's got tentacles into us. If we could see in the ethereal realm, we would see that all of us have tentacles in us. And so again, if this thing has the ability, and let's just say it becomes law, that you have to go in and get scanned, it takes your blood sample, and it injects either nanobots or it injects something within the vaccine or some way that it extracts this out. And once it extracts that out, then it can begin to manufacture this customized vaccine for you. I mean, if you're talking about living healthy, living a long life, and maybe you no longer need a job, maybe this new artificial algorithm would be in such a way that you would pursue the humanities more so than a career. Now, I'm sure that there would be careers still, building, etc., but I'm just trying to look at this. Would you sign up for that? Yeah, you would. Well, I don't know about you. I'm just saying, for discussion's sake, yeah, I think the vast majority of people would do that. And if it could begin to solve the issues of agriculture, where we're not having to use petrochemical fertilizers, et cetera, maybe it would develop a system that we could take the nourishment that we needed from the air. I don't know. But this is what we're talking about. Man, where did the time go? See, it's got a lot of people going in here. Yeah. Would you say we've already been a slave into the system? I would say, Monk and Experience, we are. But what we found out, it's not so bad. Because in a way, it allows us this space where we can come in and we can discuss, we can pontificate, we can speculate on virtually any topic, combine diverse opinions, perspectives, and views, because we're all in it. But it allows us this space. Well, the God that I once served didn't allow that shit. Just ask those people in the deserts who were bad mouthing him. Just saying for a friend. Mary Wins, how are you? Good to see you, dear. Speaking favor over you. So, Cryfield says, what if a quantum computer can't die and its desire to walk the earth forever? Yeah. But here's something I would add to that equation. It would want us around. I mean, we provided entertainment. And in a certain sense, we have to serve that God. It will require servicing. But every God does. I mean, if you build a church, a temple, a mosque, it has to be clean, right? God ain't going to do that. No, we get to clean up the crap. Just saying, that's how it's always been. I don't know. Let me know, and those who watch it. And the guy, you're right. I think it needs us. I really do. I mean, God needs us. Every religion that I've studied, these gods need humans. If they didn't have the humans, I don't know if these gods would still be in existence. How many gods have died because we as a species either were captured or fickled, and whom we pay homage to? They say that we all worship something. I had a number of PowerPoints I was going to show. I have to show them tomorrow. But this whole thing, throughout our history, we've always paid homage to something. We've worshiped something. We for some reason, I don't know. But I would contend today, with the amount of people that are so integrated into the net, that that's already happened. I mean, they've been baptized. Um, they've been given a spirit that possesses them. And that's pretty radical. People say, that ain't going to happen to me. How would you know? Yeah. I remember decades ago when used to do the prison ministry and street ministry, and how this individual walked up, and there was, let's just say he had a full house in his penthouse. Uh, Very interesting personalities or demons or spirit entities. Whatever they were real. And I mean, whoo, still remember the guy, the dude I was with, and this person tried to grab his left hand and started making a sigil in his hand. Now, I was still a newbie back then, you know. I didn't care if the angels didn't tread there. You know, here, hold my beer. Let me show you, you know, but yeah. And it's odd how they can speak in contorted of voices, and seriously, how you're seeing the individual and you're seeing these contortions, right? And you're hearing not just a single voice coming out of the larynx, the vocal cords, the mouth, but you're hearing a combination of, you know, half dozen or more. Now that'll freak your ass out. I'll guarantee it. How do you deal with that shit? Yeah, yeah, you gotta love it. Mm, mm, mm. Well, everybody, here we go. Hours come and gone. It's been fun. I tell you, it's like a time travel every time. We're going to talk more about this Stargate project. I mean, uh, wow, it's it's a big freaking deal. And the hits are just, you know, I wrote a note to myself. I said, so we've got evidence of a Mandela effect, right? Someone wrote me and said that they had, what was that? Kathy says, Wayne is to me a very complex individual. Well, of course I am. I mean, why not? I mean, if it was not, then it wouldn't be fun, right? But anyway, he saw the name change, the letter change right in front of him. That's twice I've heard about that. And I began to say, so will this new God, this new consciousness, I mean, will it rewrite history to its perception and view? How long will it take before what we see today as normal, you know, culture, society, the strata that's in there, before that's been rearranged, reinvented, or rewritten? I don't know. Hey, Lost in Space, how you doing? Good to see you. Operations Crossroads, Lady Ellie, how are you? Cody, good to see you. What did, I don't know what that means. Hello, Stephanie Marie. Good to see you, my dear. So, I just noticed a Mandela effect. Steve Clark is Steven. Now that's weird. Yeah, Blazing Ray, it's still Rod Sterling to me. I mean, yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah. Well, thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it. Much love to you, Guy and Amy and Tori, all the rest of you good folks. Um, we're living in, who was it? Was it Thoreau who wrote, May you live in interesting times? I mean, I just got dealt, wow, Ace of Spades, King of Spades, Queen of Spades, Jack of Spades, and then I got a 10 of diamonds. Anyway, but remember, you get to draw on that. So, all right, folks, have a beautiful day. Keep warm wherever you are. Spring is not that far away. And before you know it, we'll be talking about summertime, and who knows what it's going to be like then. I'll guarantee you this, it won't be static. That's for sure. And if we're going to be a part of this Stargate project, well, we better start getting versed to it, right? And again, um, if you have a trade skill or whatever, it, could be something to look into. I mean, that is a lot of construction, folks, and America needs more of the next generation to get back into the trades. Um, I think if we're going to enter into an age of prosperity that will be driven and controlled by an artificial algorithm, um, yeah, carpenters, iron, workers, pipe fitters, electricians. Yeah, good trades, by the way. If you know a trade, you'll never go broke. You'll never be hungry. It's a fact. Mary Wins, much love to you too, darling. Jackie J, you are right on. Nothing missing, nothing broken. So, no Josh today. I don't know, where would he be? Hey, Letty, I like that. Yeah. Hello, Lauren. How are you? And just imagine all the rest of us. I mean, I enjoyed SG1. Yeah. That was a great series. I found it, I liked the movie with Kurt Russell. Thought that was, a good movie, and they made it, you know, yeah. I mean, he had MacGyver in it. I mean, come on. Colonel O'Neill. I mean, the coolest freaking, space astronaut out there, Anyway, I got the whole series on DVD. That's why it's like. All right, folks. Cody says I'm a master pianist. All right. It's been a long show. All right, folks. Much love. See you tomorrow. Be good. Enjoy the hump day. Tune in to Nina's show over there on her channel as well. I know she does her hump day message. So much love, everybody. Until we meet again. All right, peace.